One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
Cats and Cosby on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, God bless the USA. I'm here with, it's me and Ed Cox today. And Ed, I'm glad we're both here together. I'm
glad we're both here, and I'm glad we're in the USA.
Absolutely. And Rita is, she's supposed to be calling in, but there was a secret that she was at the White House, and the president wanted to see her. So let's see what happens. If she's not available, maybe they took her phone away from her. Sometimes you take your phone away.
I think visiting with the president takes precedence. It barely takes precedence over your program, John.
Absolutely. And I guess he has to. If she's going to see him, she has to see him soon because he's going to South Dakota.
Yeah, he's going to South Dakota. That's right, Mount Rushmore. But we're all celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, a truly revolutionary document.
And I will tell you, Ed, if President Trump didn't get elected post Biden, I don't know if we would have made the 300th year.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're going in the wrong direction, and he's got this country now going in the right direction. Got to keep it going, though.
You got to keep it going. And I was worried. And I tell you, and this morning I worked 5 hours this morning, and we had Michael Cohen on, and we had Fernando Mateo on, and it was me and Jake. And it was going so well. And Vito came in. Vito Fasella came in.
Yeah. Oh, he's good. Great.
And it was going so great that we took over the first hour of Brian Kilmeade's show.
Oh my gosh!
And we didn't realize that Brian was alive because one of our board people told me that it was taped.
So?
Well, I guess he made a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, what do you what do you think?
The Declaration of Independence. We're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. In the time of kings, that was revolutionary and still is revolutionary. Our rights come from our Creator, not from any government. And the job of government is to secure those rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was revolutionary then, it's still revolutionary now.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, now when your father-in-law was the president, President Nixon, did you live at the White House?
Yes, we did. We basically did for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fun. How was it?
Well, it's very interesting when then Prince Charles came to the White House and with all the rough flourishes and all, and there the family is, and he took a look and he said, "My, what a nice little house."
compared to a castle that's
it is
800 years old.
It is a nice little house.
We went to Windsor Castle. At the time when it was King Charles invited us because it was the 1 year anniversary of King Constantine's.
I know. I met him. I met him in Cairo.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to live in the Windsor Castle.
No.
I mean it's
no.
It's so cold. It's so
the White House has so much history to it. It just what you realize it is the people's house. It's not your house. And you're just by being there, you're living history.
So you lived there for 3 years. That must have been
for 3 years. That was our base.
That must have been a great experience.
Yeah, it was. And with President Nixon, the things that he was doing, it was very exciting. Whether it was saving Israel in the Yom Kippur War, or whether the trip to China.
I only lived there for 1 or 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
in the famous Lincoln bedroom.
Yeah. Oh, and the famous, yes. Yeah.
And it was quite an experience to walk around. And
that's a hard mattress, I have to say, in the Lincoln's bedroom. That's the way they were in those days.
And it's a hard mattress, and it's like 5 feet off the ground or something, if I remember.
Yes, you're right.
And you say, my God, if I roll off, I'll probably kill myself.
There was no West Wing there, by the way. There was a cabinet room there. There was the Lincoln sitting room where he would work.
Yeah.
The West Wing came later.
But it was quite an experience, even though, and I stayed at the at Camp David for at least I think it was 3 days.
Yeah.
And that was a great experience.
Yeah.
And I guess you stayed at Camp David too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we'd fly up there in the helicopter or drive up there, and you know who that's named that for. It's Eisenhower's grandson, David Eisenhower, who married who is my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law. And I'll tell you, I remember when I stayed at the at Camp David, and you look at some of those guest books. Yeah. A lot of Nixons and Eisenhowers.
That's true.
Yes.
The Eisenhowers and Nixons covered a long period of time there.
By the way, we have Professor Alan Dershowitz with us. And Professor Alan Dershowitz, me and Ed Cox are the only people on. We're here in the studio, and we're telling old war stories.
I'm loving them. I'm listening to them. I was only once in the Lincoln bedroom when I advised the President Trump, on Israel, and he invited me to dinner, and he said, before we have dinner, I think you'd be interested in seeing this. So he took me to the Lincoln bedroom, and he sat down on the bed, and I sat down on the bed, and here I am on Lincoln's bed, sitting next to the President of the United States.
I mean, were you scared of sleeping in that bed? It was like 4 or 5 feet high.
I wasn't invited to sleep in the bed. I only sat on the bed.
Yeah.
And we talked about the Emancipation Proclamation. We talked about the 14th Amendment. We talked about some other things. We gossiped a little. We spent probably, 15 or 20 minutes. It was a thrill for me to be in the bedroom that Lincoln slept in. I mean, Lincoln is such an incredible hero to so many people. He's one of the few people who you don't even know whether he's a Republican or a Democrat. You don't care. He was technically a Republican, but he could have been on either side. He was just a great man who wanted to unite the country with malice toward none and charity toward all. God, do I wish there were a Lincoln around now to make that kind of statement. But
and I'll tell you,
we're so divided.
The reason Rita's not here, she was supposed to call in from Washington. I think she must be with the president right now.
That's great.
And the president invited her over to say hello before he went over. Before he was going to, I guess, South Dakota.
Yeah, great. And on July 4th, tomorrow, my new book comes out called "Founding Fathers and One Jewish Mother," comparing the founding of America, Washington, Jefferson, Hamilton, with the founding of Israel, Ben Gurion, Herzl, Netanyahu, and all of those people. And it shows incredible similarities. And as your previous guest said, Richard Nixon helped really save Israel during the 1973 war when he ordered Kissinger to send planes and other ammunition to Israel so they were able to defeat the Egyptians, and that led to the Camp David.
Actually, Kissinger brought the Defense Department deciding what planes they need to. He said, order them to send anything that flies.
Yeah. Look, when Israel was first established, their planes came in boxes. They were sent from Czechoslovakia in boxes to avoid the embargo, and then the Israelis had to put them together. They were like little tin boxes, and a tiny little army with like 2 airplanes defeated the Egyptians. And, Israel has been surviving ever since, thanks to the help of the United States and other countries and to its own ingenuity. And, I wish people would have a more objective view toward Israel. Today, the hard left believes that if you're going to be a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, you have to be an anti-Semite. And half of them are Jews, self-hating Jews who believe in socialism, which has never worked for any country in the world. So, I'm hoping as we move beyond July 4th, we regain our desire for free markets, for free speech, and not do what the progressives want us to do, which is to really go back to the time of terrible regressive politics and divisions based on identity politics. We need meritocracy. We need to survive based on our skills and our abilities, which we've had for all those years. That's what Israel and the United States have in common. They survive on their ability, their meritocracy, and let's hope both countries live a long, long time. But right now, we're talking about America. What a great thrill to be living in America 250 years after, this new book that I have, Jewish founding fathers and one Jewish mother. It has all the original documents founding America. It has original copies of the Bill of Rights, of the Declaration of Independence, of the Constitution. And when you read those over again, they are just the most remarkable things to read.
Now, today is July 3rd. Tomorrow's our 250th year, July 4th. What's on your mind, Professor, on some of these Supreme Court cases I mean, did they really screw up badly by going after the birthright? If they were more specific, they could have won. If it was illegal aliens, if it was people that didn't have permission to be here, if they were tourists, they could have won.
Look, of course, the framers of the 14th Amendment never intended it to apply to rich Chinese people who fly over here when the woman is in the 8th month in order to have a baby and then fly back to China and maybe do bad things to the United States. That's not what the framers intended. They intended that the children of slaves born in the United States are full citizens rather than fractional citizens. Remember, in the original Constitution, blacks in the South counted as 2/3 of a person. And the 14th Amendment said, no, you're a whole person, and you're born in the United States, but you have to be subject to its jurisdiction. And what Congress can do now, and I'm hoping they're going to do it, pass legislation saying that these people who come in just to get born here are not subject to our jurisdiction. They are strangers. They're just like diplomats or like soldiers who are stationed here for NATO. They are not. They have no allegiance to the United States, and there's no reason for them to be citizens.
Do you think the Supreme Court, instead of just voting it down, they should have had the option to fix it better themselves, or that's not the norm?
No, I think they do. I think without saying it, they have given Congress the option to fix it. Now, can Congress do it? We're such a divided Congress, and you need 60 votes in the Senate and all of that. But I think 90% of Americans, I bet you 90% of Americans don't want to see citizenship given to a person who was just born here and owes no allegiance, doesn't pay taxes, can't serve in the army, is not subject to treason, all of those things. I bet it would be a popular piece of legislation to limit the number of people who are under the jurisdiction of the United States. I hope Congress has hearings. I hope it does it. And I think it would be, politically acceptable. One of the few things that I think there'd be a consensus over. And on July 4th, we welcome legal immigrants, people who came here like my grandparents, probably your grandparents. So many of our grandparents came here as immigrants, and they gave so much to the country. I mean, Greek Americans have contributed so much to the country. Italian Americans, Irish Americans.
We have
Jewish
great
Americans.
Greek diners, and you guys had great Jewish delis.
Yeah, well, I have a fight with my Italian friends about who has better food, and we finally resolved it that the Jews are better at breakfast. The Italians are much better at dinner with their pasta and, all the great dishes, and we're kind of tired about lunch. So, and Greek food, my God, two of my favorite restaurants in Manhattan. I don't want to advertise anybody.
Yeah, you can say it. Alvarez Milos.
Of course. I go to them all the time.
Yeah.
The freshest fish you can get, the best salads, the best, tiramisu, everything, baklava. It's fantastic. I love Greek food.
I do too. I'll tell you one last story before we break. I was talking to my daughter-in-law, my son's wife, and she's a Californian, and she went to see her old house in California. I don't know if you heard this story, Ed. And she went to see her old house, and her house, and her grandfather was Angelo Mazzillo, the famous the big company they had out there, and they went to see their old house, and there was 40 cots in there with 40 Chinese pregnant women.
Oh, my God. My God.
And she says to me that she talked to all her old friends, and the Chinese were buying up homes, big homes in remote areas, so they don't, and this is happening to hundreds of homes in California.
Well, that's why we need congressional hearings where we can tell this all to the American public. And, the American people want immigrants. They want good immigrants to come here and help the country. Absolutely necessary to the economy, to the culture, but not people who just come here to be born and then go back to their own country.
Yes,
do nothing to the country.
That's wrong.
They're not citizens.
Yeah. Hold on.
They're not subjects.
I think the Rita just left the president's office. Let's hear it. Okay, Rita, you just left the president's office?
I literally just left President Trump just a few moments ago. We had a great exclusive conversation, John. And, John, what an amazing moment. I'm literally right now a few hundred feet maybe away from the Oval Office. He's about to take off to go to South Dakota to Mount Rushmore. And I think I was one of the last people to talk with him before he goes for this beginning of what is going to be an extraordinary time with America 250. And, John, just to give everybody, our great listeners, an insight, first of all, what a gift. I'm so humbled to be here at the White House as we're speaking right now and to talk
especially
to him
on July
here.
4th, July 3rd, on 250-year anniversary.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you can't get any better, right? You guys, you can't get any better. And to talk to the president just now about this moment in America, what it means to him, what it means to this country, what it means to the world, and just the role that America is playing. And we were looking at the Declaration of Independence, which he has just a few feet away from the Resolute desk. We're talking about just the significance of that. Of course, he just unearthed that not too long ago. Very proud of that and proud of the history of this country. And also just energized. I mean, here's a president who all day long had meetings. While I was here at the White House, I just said hello, by the way, to Speaker Mike Johnson. He sends his love to you, John. I also saw Steve Scalise just a few moments ago, who sends his best to you as well. And I also saw many members of the Trump family. We saw Don Jr. was here. Tiffany was here. I had a chance to talk with all of them. And literally the president was just wonderful. It gave me a hug, said hello, talked about just how the world is doing right now and what a pivotal moment it is. You think about with everything he's got on his plate.
By the way, say hello to Alan, to Professor Dershowitz. He's on with us.
Hi, and
Professor,
just shows
how are you?
Good. Shows you what good taste the president has by giving you a hug. That's terrific. And by welcoming you on July 4th, that's great. You know, when I was recently in the Oval Office, I saw the Declaration of Independence also. I have an early copy of the Declaration in my house. I pass it by every single morning. I look at it. I have a letter from Thomas Jefferson written on the 25th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. I look at that. I mean, these documents of liberty are so important to our identity as a country, and that's why I was so thrilled to have myself written a book about it with these documents. But you saw them all in person, and you saw the president. What a thrill to do that on July 4th. So may you have many more thrills like that in your life.
Yeah. And we also got Congresswoman Nicole Mayotakis on. Nicole, are you there?
Hi guys, good to
now, Nicole, you get to go. You go to the Oval Office all the time, and me and Rita, it's only once in a blue moon. Huh?
I've actually only been there once. I was there actually after they redesigned it. It is, Rita, it is an incredible experience to be able to walk into the Oval Office of the President of the United States, particularly, as a daughter of immigrants, to have that experience was one of the most amazing things. And the president is always very gracious with all his guests, and he allows you to take photos and walk around and be able to really experience the whole thing. So I'm glad that you were there today. And this time last year we were there signing the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut Package, which now a year later, after everyone has filed their returns, and if they've compared what they paid this year to last year, I'm sure they saw significant savings because we had that quadrupled SALT deduction. We were able to return what seniors paid in Social Security. back to them. We saw the increased child tax credit, which helped millions of families across this country. We also saw no tax on tips and overtime. The average deduction for a tipped worker was $7,000, which is significant. And, all the other things like doubling the standard deduction, for example, these were all part of this important package that was signed there a year ago today. And so we're really happy.
But you have one more job to do, Congresswoman. Congresswoman, you have one more job. You have to get Congress to pass legislation saying that people who just come to the country to have a baby are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and therefore are not automatic citizens under the 14th Amendment. You can do it even though the Supreme Court ruled the way it did.
Well, your legal opinion obviously very much matters and is significant here because I think that's the question. The question is, could we do it without it being challenged in court? What exactly is constitutionally protected? And I know that, in 1868, they were speaking specifically about slaves, and when it was challenged 3 decades later, the person who challenged it was actually the son of legal immigrants, somebody who had permanent residency here. They were not here illegally. And so there is a question as to what can Congress do today to clarify that law. I think most people would think that the people should at least be here legally if they are going to have a child here that would be born as a U.S. citizen. So, I think this is going to be a big debate going forward in the next few weeks.
I agree. But I think there is a way of Congress legally and constitutionally saying that certain people are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And I think that's the only opening that the Supreme Court left. And Congress can fill it. If, obviously in the Senate you need 60 votes, so it's not going to be easy to do. But I think if these votes could be gotten, I would be very happy to argue the constitutionality of such a legislative provision, and I think I would win.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, and we spoke to Ed Cox before, and Ed Cox lived there with Tricia Nixon for 3 years.
That was her base.
I guess that's better than one visit or 2 visits or 3 visits to the Oval Office.
I'm jealous. And guys, here at the White House, there is something so incredible about being here right now on July 4th. You could tell the president is in such a great mood. He loves this country. And all the military sentry around him, all the people around him. The other thing, I just want to say one thing about how sharp and adept this president is. While I was there were so many different faces coming in and out because, of course, he's leaving. In about 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to probably see his departure just a few feet away from me here when he leaves to go to South Dakota. Every single person, he looked them in the eye, he knew their name, talked about a particular duty that he had to assign them or an old friend. It was really extraordinary. He is sharp as a tack, and yet he's also so adept as he's talking about something like Iran, talking about Russia. Then the next moment, seamlessly talking about a tree outside at the White House, saying, it should be this feet high, it should be this. One of the other things, too, I just want to share another just amazing piece of history. I got to look at the Walk of Fame where you see all the presidents. You see the picture of the auto pen. The president obviously loves that. You see the new Rose Garden. Also, there is a piece of furniture that I just saw here. It is from 1770, before the country was born. Every place you turn here at the White House, there's a piece of history. And I feel like the luckiest person alive to see it firsthand today.
Well, wow.
One thing, there are people who abuse history. The mayor of New York sat at the desk of George Washington today and attacked the United States and demeaned America. And, talked about how we should become a socialist country. Sitting at the desk of George Washington. What an abuse. What an abuse. What a desecration for have Mamdani and George Washington. Mamdani, he didn't even mention, when he praised explorers, didn't mention Christopher Columbus. Left him out. He talked about, others, Henry Hudson, but he left out Christopher Columbus, and he probably would have left out George Washington, too, if he hadn't been lucky enough to be able to sit at his desk. So, he's not a person who really loves America, and yet he's the mayor, of our great city.
Nicole, what did you think about that?
Professor Dershowitz, what a contrast. What a contrast to right now being with this president, who I was so blessed to be with moments ago, who loves this country. You could tell he is so excited to celebrate the 4th of July, 250 years. This is the man who wanted to see this country celebrated each and every day. There's no president, I think, that loves this country better than him and appreciates our role in the world.
Well, guys, Professor Nicole, anything else you want to say before we take a break? Go ahead.
I just want to say one last thing, because they brought up Mondani's speech. I have to say, you would think the guy would get up there and simply say thank you. Thank you to this great country that he was able to come as an immigrant from Uganda and be able to become the mayor of the largest city in the country. Where else in the world would that happen except for the United States? That's why the United States is so exceptional. It doesn't matter where you came from or how you started, you can achieve greatness. And that's what he should have said. But instead, he decided to point out everything that he found wrong with America. And I think that was very shameful, and it was a missed opportunity for him as an emerging leader, which we hope he'll stay where he is. He doesn't emerge anymore.
The only thing I disagree with you, I think he could be elected mayor of Tehran. I think he could be elected to the government of Iran, but not any democracy except America. But, he's rooting for Iran. He's rooting for our enemies. And that's what's so terrible, to have a mayor like that of the great city on July 4th. But thank God we have good mayors, good presidents, good members of Congress like you, good senators, and great, great, great journalists like those of you who are on this show who have common sense.
Well, Professor Dershowitz, Congresswoman Nicole Mayotakis, thank you for coming on today. Happy 4th of July weekend. And Rita, stay on. And guys, and let's take a break, and we're going to come back with Andrew Giuliani. And he wants to talk about soccer, how well it's doing in the United States. And let's take that break.
Katz and Cosby on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You're in your apartment alone. Then you hear something. You think, was it just the storm? You realize you're not alone. Your living room is not safe with Unhinged, the new immersive game experience brought to you by Netflix. To make it out alive, you must answer the phone. The question is, when your phone rings, will you answer? Tap the banner to play Unhinged now, only on Netflix.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, we are back. This is John Catsimatidis. I'm in the studio with Ed Cox. Calling in from Washington, we have Rita Cosby, who just left the Oval Office. And on the phone with us, we got Andrew Giuliani, who's in the Oval Office every other day.
Well, I was just on the phone with the guy in the Oval Office there. I must have just missed Rita, as a matter of fact, while she was in there. But, John, always great to be with you, especially on this eve of our semi-quincentennial. What an amazing time it is to be an American.
It is. I mean, to be July 3rd and tomorrow, July 4th, the 250th year. And I was telling people that if President Trump didn't get elected after Joe Biden, I would have been worried about the 300th year of America.
You know what? I remember you saying that. And it really is true. When you think about just the difference of the last 18 months and what President Trump is able to put forward. And I think we see it, frankly, with this World Cup over the summer. You're seeing people come to the United States of America that was told lies about the United States, that was told that the U.S. is not exceptional. And they're getting to see it by traveling around the country, by interacting with Americans, that the U.S. is the greatest country in the world. And what I hope after this tournament ends here in a couple of weeks, is that people get to see those freedoms that they experienced in the United States and bring a little bit of that back with them to their home. If they do that and they can instill some of those freedoms, those beauties that we have here in the United States of America, the world would be a far better place.
And Andrew, tell us about how successful is the soccer matches, and give us the big picture.
So, John, the big picture is on this. The Super Bowl is almost a national holiday for us every single year. About 160 million people around the world watch the Super Bowl. 1.3 billion people watched the opening U.S. match just a few weeks ago. This World Cup is shattering all records. It's already surpassed the ticket record for the most World Cups by over 2 million tickets at this point. They are projected to make 5 times the amount of revenue on this World Cup as they did the last World Cup just 4 years ago. It has been unbelievable to see. And, John, when you end up adding an event like the World Cup with America during the golden age and the leadership of our 45th and 47th president, Donald J. Trump, you get an event like this.
Wow. And, the stadium that we operate down in Staten Island, the stadium that your father built, and the mayor had it full of soccer fans for 5 days or 4 days, and we had tens of thousands of fans there. And what I'm going to talk to the mayor about is that we should have baseball and soccer there permanently.
John, I couldn't think of a better thing. It really, really is such a fantastic venue. One of my favorite views in all of New York City when you're sitting in the stands there and you look over and you see the New York skyline. It's a fantastic thing to do on a summer evening as you take the boat on over there. It lets you out in right field, and then you walk yourself into a stadium. You can watch America's pastime, or you can watch what's America's fastest growing sport right now, which is soccer. John, I never thought, and you could ask Sid this, I never thought that I'd be the one out there talking about soccer. I was always, as you know, golf. I play a lot of golf with the president, baseball and football, American football. But it really, really is amazing to see just how many kids are picking this up. I think soccer, within a few years is going to be the number 2 sport in the United States of America. I'm not going to quite say it's going to pass football yet. And yes, we are still calling soccer soccer and football football, but I'm going to tell you it's going to be approaching it pretty soon.
So how long does this soccer go on? And is the USA, how is the USA doing?
Well, the tournament goes on for another 16 days. We've been playing now for a little over 3 weeks. There's 16 more days. We'll play the final in the Meadowlands on July 19th, and that is projected to be watched by, get this, John, over 2.5 billion people. Think about that.
Wow. I mean, those numbers are mind-boggling.
Over a third of the world will end up watching New York, New Jersey on July 19th, tuning into this. So it really, really is amazing.
So when you talk about NFL, even the Super Bowl, I mean, it's probably only 1 billion people.
Yeah, it's actually somewhere closer to about 150 million people. You normally get about 125 domestic viewers, and then somewhere between 30 to 40 million international, so maybe 160 to 170. This is about 15 to 20 times the size of a Super Bowl watching these matches. So it really, really blows it away. The 2 largest, most watched events every 4 years is the opening ceremonies to the Olympics, because everybody has somebody from their country walking, and then the World Cup final.
Well, after all is said and done, can I borrow you from the president to give us advice how we put soccer in the Staten Island Stadium, the house that the house that Rudy built?
Absolutely. I would be absolutely honored to see some soccer matches going on between baseball games there. Hope those Ferry Hawks are doing well and making a.
We hired a new manager, Wally Backman from the New York Mets.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, absolutely. I think the alternating between soccer and baseball out there. Look, baseball is still our national pastime here, but really it is awesome to see just how the world is coming together around this, and it's sports diplomacy really right in front of your eyes. The people that get in the same room that never would because of soccer really, really is amazing. And I could tell you the president's leadership on this has been fantastic. And it's a way to really help spread freedom around the globe, if you think about it. And that's what we've tried to do on the White House Task Force. That's what we're going to continue to push. And what better time to do it than over our 250th birthday?
Well, Andrew Giuliani, thank you for briefing all of America on the big soccer matches, and we'll talk to you again real soon. And thank you for what you do.
John, thank you very much. And happy birthday to the greatest country God ever created, the United States of America.
Agreed. And let's take that break. And we're going to come back with Admiral Robert Harwood, and he's going to give us a briefing of what the heck is going on in Iran.
Katz and Cosby
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We are back. And what the heck is going on? We talked about Washington. We talked about the United States. We talked about soccer. What the heck is going on in Iran right now? And with us today is Admiral Robert Harwood. Admiral, this is the first time me and you have ever talked. Welcome to Katz and Cosby Show. Rita is in Washington. She just left the Oval Office. And Rita, would you like to ask the Admiral the first question?
Yeah, sure. Admiral Robert Harwood, it's great to have you here. Let me tell everybody, too, former Navy SEAL, also Deputy Commander at CENTCOM. And you always have such great analysis. So what do you think is going on with Iran? Where is this headed?
Well, I think the administration, one, is focused on the Straits of Hormuz and the world economy and how it focuses and affects us. So I think that's been at the top of the president's list. And I think because of that, he's given Iran some leeway. Now, is that going to help him in his longer-term objective of shutting down the nuclear program? That's yet to play out, so we'll have to see. But you've also got the issue of funding Hezbollah, the missiles and drone programs they have. So you can't really solve the Iran problem without addressing all four of those components of the government in power. And then finally, outside of the scope is the Iranian people who've been murdered and killed by this regime. So the president's strategy may be to address those sequentially. Get oil flowing, get everyone who is trapped in the Gulf out, and then he can focus on the nuclear program and ultimately, maybe indirectly, the final objectives as they started at the state of the war. So in the current environment, top of that list is the flow of oil and commerce. And as we've seen today, oil prices are down, things are moving. But again, we've not seen any program on his next priority, the nuclear weapons agenda for Iran.
I want to do a breaking news. If we can do a breaking news, I want to tell you what I'm just witnessing right
Hold
here.
on, let's do a breaking news.
Breaking news, WABC.
And here we are live at the White House, and probably about 10 feet or so away from me, I just saw the motorcade with the president. They are now leaving, obviously, to take off and head towards Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, officially starting the America 250 celebrations. And what an amazing moment, you guys, to see the beast up close, but to see the cavalcade of security and cars. And after being with him in the Oval Office just a few moments ago, but to be here on this day, good spirits, everybody waving American flags. And you can tell this is going to be one heck of a celebration tonight, celebrating our great country. And as the Admiral knows all too well, our great, great military as well.
Well, Rita, I'm glad you're there, and that's quite an experience you're experiencing being in the Oval Office on the 250th year, and that is wonderful. Now, Admiral, the other thing is, I've been in the oil business for almost 50 years, 45 years, and the price of oil, the crude oil, is down to 68 today. It was 67 the other day, and I had originally predicted 65. The oil traders know what's really going on. And what that means is that the oil is going to keep flowing. Otherwise, it'd be 77. And interest rates are starting to go down. So no matter what some of the bankers are saying, the T-bill is down, in the last 2 weeks. What do you think, Admiral? Do you think the traders really know what's going on?
Well, again, they're professionals who've been in this business a long time, and they're watching what happens what is happening right now. And I think they're correspondingly in response to the president's effort to ensure the flow of oil through the Gulf right now. And ultimately, as countries like Saudi, UAE, and Qatar put in pipelines and minimize the risk of going through the Gulf, which you're seeing right now, that sets up for long-term stable oil. And once that's all in place, then the president can return to his other agendas with Iran, be it the nuclear weapons, be it funding their surrogates and using missile and drones against our assets and our allies. So I think the strategy, let's get that part taken care of, and I think that's what the analysts are seeing, long-term stability for oil, which will then put the president in position to use economic starvation and military force to meet the other three objectives.
Well, Admiral, thank you for coming on, and I hope to talk to you again real soon. And, God bless America. Thank you for everything you've done.
Admiral.
Same to you, guys. Have a great 4th of July.
Thank you, and thank you for everything you've done for America, and continue to speak out for America.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go to Congressman Nick LaLota, and is he on now? Well, Congressman LaLota, tell us what the heck is going on.
Good to be with you and your audience today, John. We're celebrating Independence Day weekend here on Long Island. We're a patriotic bunch. We love our country. We love our flag and our history. We recognize we're the greatest, most prosperous, most benevolent nation the world has ever known. And I've always been proud to be an American like you, John. But this weekend, I'm especially proud.
Well, and you had your mind on a couple of items, and tell us what's bothering you this 4th of July weekend.
Well, what's bothering me is the proliferation of sanctuary city policies across New York State, and specifically for the first time ever into Suffolk County here on Long Island, John, that the town of East Hampton and East Hampton Village, run by some pretty far-left individuals, are trying to out-Mondami each other. They just got done in a Democrat primary competing against each other. And that competition was contemporaneous with each of them adopting sanctuary policies for their specific jurisdictions. The first ever, both in Suffolk County and on Long Island, making those communities more dangerous, of course, by barring the cooperation of local law enforcement with federal law enforcement as it pertains to immigration law. Of course, that is the basis, John, of some of this mayhem we're seeing across the nation in Minnesota, Los Angeles, and other places where federal enforcement has been most peaceful and most safe for the community, for the officer, and for the arrestee is when local officials can indeed cooperate with the federal ones. The easiest way to pick up a criminal alien is by having the jail call ICE and say, hey, we got our bad guy here. We need you to pick him up. And that's happening in great places across the country, but places like East Hampton don't want that to happen anymore.
Understood. Ed Cox?
So what is the leverage that you have to force that sanctuary policy to be terminated by the town of East Hampton?
And thank you for that question. Of course, Congress controls the power of the purse. We have the money. And I've been getting tens of millions of dollars back home for individuals paving their roads, for water quality, and some first responder equipment. But what I've told my municipalities moving forward is that on those discretionary dollars, and some would call them pork, I would call them earmarks or community project funding requests, I've told all of my towns and villages in my congressional district, no more. I will not support your request anymore if you have these sanctuary policies. Right now, it only pertains to those two small jurisdictions. My hope is they will reverse those policies. They'll choose those millions of dollars from me rather than these crazy far-left policies. But it's also a warning sign to some of these other drifting municipalities on don't go there. We want you to cooperate. We want your communities to be safe. We want to be able to apprehend the criminal aliens where they exist. And that's a safer, better, more prosperous way for everybody to move forward.
Rita, you had a question.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Congressman. I'm here actually at the White House as we speak, and certainly security and national security, such a huge issue. I'm curious just also how important you think it is, the policies, I guess, fighting against sanctuary cities now more than ever with all the threats, against the president, the threats, from overseas, domestic. You understand that all too well as you understand national security, just how pivotal it is to know who's in our country and to get the bad ones out.
Yeah, you don't have to be an Annapolis graduate, an 11-year Navy veteran, a brother of a Marine sniper, or a member of the Homeland Security Committee to get the basics. Biden let 20 million people into this country illegally. He repealed Remain in Mexico, simultaneous with Secretary Mayorkas loosening the asylum standards, simultaneous with folks like Governor Hochul giving free hotels and health care to migrants, acting as a further magnet drawing people across that border into our nation, into the interior. You don't have to have a great analysis of the problem to understand those far left policy decisions have made our country less safe. And there are a lot of military-age males from nations with whom we're adversarial who were able to cross that border and get into the interior of the country, ostensibly to set up camp and to be sleeper cells to do what they want tomorrow, the next week, next month, next year, whenever. And it's imperative that we unwind this Biden open border scam and make our nation more safe.
Ed Cox, last question.
Congressman, you graduated from the Naval Academy. You spent 8 years in the Navy, 3 deployments overseas. As a closing question here, what do you feel on this 4th of July as a veteran?
I got to see the world, 20 different countries. I got to serve with some of the bravest, selfless, most patriotic Americans. And in my travels, I became more and more in love with this great nation of ours. No other nation, especially in the last 80 years, has been more prosperous, more strong, but more benevolent. We've been able to help more people reach higher ground than any other nation the world has ever known. I'm prouder than ever to be an American this Independence Day weekend.
Well, thank you for coming on, Congressman LaLota. And I'll probably be seeing you at breakfast tomorrow, and we got a big parade going on in Southampton.
I'm looking forward to that, John.
I'll see you at the parade, and I'll see you at the breakfast.
God bless America.
God bless America. And now we have Peter King calling in. And Congressman Peter King, I talked to you this morning. I talked to you tonight. I mean, I talked to you more than I talked to my wife.
So you must be getting sick of me, John. I don't know, but it's always great to talk with you and everyone there. And also, it's a great pleasure to follow Nick LaLota. He's doing a great job in Congress. And, Rita, I think you hit it. I mean, security is so important. Homeland security, security from enemies overseas. And Nick is really qualified in that, and he really walks the walk on that. He really does.
And, Congressman, tell us what you feel like this afternoon. Is it better than this morning?
Oh, yeah. First, I enjoyed being on with you this morning, and it's great today. But also, just looking forward to tomorrow, the 250th anniversary of our country. And to me, we can't emphasize enough, what a great country this is. We take it for granted, and we say, oh, yeah, we love America. But the fact is, we really should take the time to realize how much we should love it. I mean, John, you're an immigrant. I'm a grandson of immigrants. I had many immigrants in my family over here. And everyone was able to make a living at the very least, and some do a lot better than that, much more than they ever would have done if they hadn't left. And you think of all these immigrants who came here with really very little, and they fought hard, and they achieved so much, which they never would have been able to do in their own country. But the fact is they did it legally, and that's what made America great. And the opportunities it gives people, all we've done around the world. I mean, there's been no world power who has ever been as generous as the United States. I mean, after World War II, we were the only country with a nuclear bomb, and we started to demobilize. I mean, we could have conquered the world at that moment if we wanted to. And there's so many other instances like that where, I guess it was Colin Powell, says all our soldiers look for, or all we look for our fighting men and women overseas, is have gravestones for them if they should be killed in action. And that's really what America's been about. There was so much good. Listen, we're not perfect. And even, the fact the Constitution says a more perfect union means we're not perfect to begin with, but we're as close to it as anyone. And more than that, we're constantly aspiring to it. So I have no patience with people who criticize this country. And even though I'm very pro-immigrant, I have no patience with immigrants who come here and attack the country. If you don't like it, go back home. I mean, that to me is
Peter.
disgraceful.
What Congressman LaLota is talking about is holding back money because of the policies that East Hampton has. I've never heard of that before. Has it been done before?
I think it's been done in several places, but I know Nick is very strong on that. And to me, he's certainly getting their attention. I think that he started. First of all, I'm on his side of the debate, but the fact we even have a debate now is important. And we have to really turn this whole thing around. This whole thing of not supporting ICE, this whole thing of not cooperating when it comes to deporting illegals here who are committing crimes. Like we're seeing out at Minnesota, the whole thing with Governor
we
Walz.
got to keep our country safe. We got to keep our cities and counties safe. And I remember East Hampton, me, yourself, and your daughter were fighting the community there because they wanted to close the airport.
Yeah, no, that's you're right about my daughter. She really put up a fight for that. But you're right, though. It's to me, these are fights we should all have. We should all be willing to take part in them. And again, most of all, John, is to defend the country in every way. Defend it when we're in conversation. Defend it when we're at war. And defending it internally from people who's going to try to subvert us from inside. And again, this weekend is, I can tell you, having been involved with the Nassau County Police and their preparations for this 4th of July ceremony, the work that goes into it, it's all behind the scenes. Yeah, obviously the cops are out there protecting the Taylor Swift wedding, but you have no idea what's going on to protect us from possible attacks involving all of these 4th of July celebrations and commemorations that's out there. This is all done behind the scenes, and people should never take that for granted. Just like we should never take for granted what our men and women in the armed forces are doing every day overseas at various locations, while we're back here enjoying ourselves.
And our politicians is giving money to migrants that hate America, putting them up in $400 hotel rooms. $400 a day hotel rooms, and our veterans are on the streets homeless. I mean, that is damn bad. Rita, you had a last question before we have to go to a break.
Oh, yeah. And Peter, I'm here at the White House where obviously security is unbelievable, as you can imagine. And one of the things I think about, and the president, one thing you didn't bring up yet is birthright citizenship. I mean, how crazy is this birthright tourism? What a disaster that is for the country.
It really is something that's really been abused. Listen, I have a regard for Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Roberts. I understand their opinion, but we have to find some way to get around this because this is definitely an abuse of something. And if it can be done through legislation, the way Justice Kavanaugh said, or even if it requires a constitutional amendment or some modification, because it's a terrible abuse of the system, and it was something that was never done before. Immigrants came here to stay here. They came here to make their lives and careers here, to raise their children here, but they did it legally, and that's what we have to go back to.
Well, Congressman Peter King, thank you for coming on, and we'll talk again real soon.
And happy 250. Thank you, John.
Happy 250. And let's take a break, and we're going to come back. Joe Concha has a few things to say, and he always ends up on our Friday, and we always have some good laughs. And let's take that break right now.
Katz and Cosby
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, we are back, and with us today, like every Friday at 6:01, we have Joe Concha, and Joe, you always call it, I mean, we love to hearing you on Fridays at 6 o'clock.
Oh, dude, it's totally. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you dude. You're my boss. Yes, Mr.
It's okay. Just don't call me late for lunch.
Perfect. That's it. Well played. No, I mean, it promotes the show for Friday night and for Sunday. I think the numbers are pretty good. So, yeah, the more I could be on this very, very popular drive time show, the better. I'm the beneficiary, believe me, my friend.
Well, you're on 9 o'clock tonight, or you're off. I heard you're on vacation. I heard a rumor like that.
It's my first day I've taken off since we started in January. So with the family down here in Long Beach Island, and not to make anybody jealous, but right now it's 76 degrees here on the ocean.
Where are you now?
Long Beach Island, New Jersey. It's hour and a half south. But the water
here
so cold,
across the street on 3rd Avenue, it's 99 degrees.
Oh, I know. I was on Fox today. We had an outdoor set at Liberty State Park, and trust me, yeah, it was 99. We had to be there in jacket and tie. It was. I may have to ask for a raise at this point. But what do you want to talk about, my friend?
Well, I mean, you're the cleanup hitter. What would you like to talk about?
Wow, like the Lou Gehrig of WABC. I like this. Okay, good stuff. I want to talk about the Taylor Swift wedding or the big party that's going on at Madison Square Garden.
Is it a real wedding or is it a fake wedding?
They may have gotten married already. It's kind of the reception either way, but 1,000 people are going to show up. And I think, John, in the end, I mean, we have so many different things going on where we have to protect New York. It's 250. It's obviously a very, very juicy terror target at a time where, obviously we're still at war, technically, I guess you could say. We still have a lot of enemies. And the fact that more than 100 NYPD officers have to be at Madison Square Garden to placate to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, it's just a horrible use of resources. And I don't even get it. Travis Kelce's a Kansas City Chief. Get married in Kansas City. Why are you doing this here on July 4th weekend when the NYPD need to be in other places to protect New Yorkers from possible harm?
Well, and Rita, any questions for Joe?
Yeah, well, Joe, I'm in Washington. I'm at the White House literally right now.
Oh, wow.
But I want to I'll give you.
She just finished meeting with the president, and the president left her there and flew away.
Oh, man. That's an awesome story. And I hope you bundled up down there, Rita.
I think I was the Lou Gehrig in the Oval Office. I was the last person before he headed out, and now he's on his way to South Dakota to kick off America 250. But I'll tell you a funny I'll tell you a Taylor Swift story. On my way here, of course, from New York, it was I couldn't almost get into Penn Station this morning because everything was blocked off, and I said, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? Is there some security thing?" No, it was Taylor Swift. So everybody, didn't matter who you were, if you were in some enormous rush, you had to go so many blocks around in New York City to get to Penn Station. I took the train here to Washington, but it is wreaking havoc all over the city. But I will tell you here, they're talking about America 250. That's what they're celebrating, not Taylor Swift.
Okay, good. I mean, that's the thing, though, right? She made $1 billion during her last tour. She could get married anywhere, and she picks July 4th weekend in the middle of New York City. It has to. All these New York City police officers now have to, barricade around Madison Square Garden and do that job. And what John described, 99 degrees heat. I mean, I don't know. I find it immature and obnoxious.
I agree with you.
Coming to mind.
Ed Cox.
So the mayor celebrated the 250th by giving a speech sitting behind George Washington's desk. What do you think of that, Joe?
I saw their press release where they said, this desk is older than the Resolute desk. And the Resolute desk, obviously, is the Oval Office. That's where Trump sits. It's Mamdani trying to put himself on equal footing with Trump. There's no other mayor in this country that did a 250 speech except for Zohran Mamdani. And that was a shot across the bow saying, I'm the leader of the Democrat Party. It's almost like the State of the Union where the Democrats then give a response after Trump speaks. This was Mamdani before Trump speaks, as if, okay, see, I'm the guy now who's the face of this party. And I think if I'm a Republican, if I'm J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, I'm saying, please be the face of the party, because Americans in swing states anyway, outside of New York City and places like Minneapolis and Seattle, will reject socialism and communism because they're educated enough to know that it just don't work.
I'm going to make an official statement, officially of WABC. The war in the Democratic Party starts Monday.
Yes, you're right about that.
They're going to fight this war, whether it's going to be the socialists or whether it's going to be the traditional Democratic Party. The war will begin Monday, and let's see how they swing it out, and let's see who wins.
And in the end, truth, justice, and the American way always wins.
What do we all stand for?
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Yay! Thank you, Joe Concha. You're going to be on. Now, you're going to be on Sunday?
On Sunday. We're going to review the whole 250 and the Taylor Swift sum-up wedding, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
And Sean Spicer, the one preceding you, is in the Navy this weekend, so I'm doing the show on Sunday from 8 to 11.
Now that's a lead-in. All right.
All right.
Sunday morning. Big time to be here.
Thank you all. Happy 4th of July. Have a great weekend, and We'll see you on Sunday morning.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?